I see what you mean.
And also, of course, you always have the big fat Bollywood divorce.
What are they like? What are the conversations like?
Conversations, I think they're very, very different. I don't think the conversations are adultery and all of that anymore. I just think it is a sense of boredom, and I think it is a sense of always looking for the next big thrill. You see, I just think for Bollywood, it is also, it comes to a BBD, like a bigger, better deal. You're always looking for the next thrill. So if the marriage becomes dead, your idea of a dead marriage may be very different from, let's say, Mr. XYZ's idea of a dead marriage. So I think that is what is happening in Bollywood. But I must say that in comparison with the number of with the number of divorces, and in comparison with Hollywood, we are just not there.
For sure.
We are still a marriage driven country.
Is the media and the reaction of the people ever playing in the Bollywood people's heads?
Only if they are saying that they don't want divorces to be acrimonious. They just want it to be mutual and divorce by mutual consent, so that it is an amicable separation, because there's anyways so much of pressure. You're being judged for everything. So I don't think that is one more thing that they want to add to that.
And I know the common people. See, I think what Bollywood gets wrong in this present moment, and who am I humbly submitting it, is that the mean of India that is on the internet, that is on media now, is very different from what used to be. And so,
absolutely.
And so Bollywood's kind of unrelatable at this point. When Bollywood tries to enter our game, this pedestrian media monkey dancing, they fail so terribly because people want real stuff. They don't want idealized aspirations anymore.
Correct.
Right? And so one of the impressions that these people have of Bollywood, which I, having sat in high society situations also, I'm not too sure if that is the case, but we hear that is the case, is that now monogamy is also not that hard a constraint on Bollywood marriage. Like people are sleeping with each other, open marriages, open relationships. Have you found that to be the case?
Live-ins, yes.
Yeah.
But in everybody's mind, it is also ki, theek hai, but they are happily married. So that is also there, happily married and children. Like, no one can understand why two stars married to each other wouldn't have children.
Why don't they?
Sometimes I think you just miss the boat, or you just complete each other. So you don't want to have children. Maybe your idea of having children is very different from otherwise. And who are we to say? Considering that Salman is one of our biggest stars, he's not even married.
Do you ever wish Salman Khan was your client?
Absolutely, 100%. I would get him married in a minute, in a hot New York minute. I would get him married, and I would get him divorced in a hot New York second.
So it'll last like yesterday. That's all the length of his marriage.
Because I would do that. I think he deserves to be married.
I think people have such an opinion on Salman's marital status. It is kind of
He
amusing.
must get married.
Wow, he's really loved. Yeah.
He must get married and have children.
And what about because these guys, do they have settlements this size? 100 CR, 50 CR? Because these guys are worth a lot too, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Are they really worth as much as the hedge fund guys? No. Because you know their financials.
No.
Yeah.
I'm the best person to know everyone's financials.
They're worth 100 to 500 CR? These guys max? Maybe Shah Rukh and the Shah Rukhs and the Salmans are worth more.
The others are lesser.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And so their settlements are what? 50 CR? 20 CR max?
Yeah. But they have properties. So you see, when you hedge that in, they're not that cash rich sometimes, because the cash is also going for
Production.
maintenance and lifestyles and all of that. Hedge fund guys don't use their cash. Hedge fund guys look awful anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they have a second life.
But new life, yeah. Then they have their own personal trainers. The lives they're living is like really, really, something which is aspirational, what you see in movies or, what you see now on the web.
See, I spent my prime years in New York, right? I know hedge fund guys. I know what they look like, and I know what they like. It's a aspirational thing to be a hedge fund guy in New York. everybody who I went to college with studied financial economics so they could be in Wall Street.
Correct.
That is their life. They dress that way. They have a very specific aesthetic. And
Correct.
so on. India, we don't really hear about we know industrialists. We have the Amani Tata's vision of rich people, and we have the Bollywood vision of rich people. We don't have the hedge fund vision of rich people.
Yeah, but it's now here to stay. Especially with the venture capitalists and the investment banks and the investment bankers who are coming up. And there is a specific belt in Bombay. I won't talk about that belt.
Well, it's Pali Hill.
No, that's not Pali Hill.
Okay.
This is a specific belt in Bombay. It's gated community, personal valet, and my car, which is I'm paying like 25 lakhs for the number plate and so on and so forth. Specific belt where I know all my clients are going to come from there and they're going to be the wives because they're married to these investment bankers. And they go to the Geo Mall and they go to the Geo Plaza. And I know somebody, who's gone to the Geo Plaza with someone who is dating. Wife has seen them. So there you go. So that's bad.
Yeah.
But see, their aspirations are the same only, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your New York hedge fund guys. Right. So these guys are also like designer. We'll fly first class. We'll do this. Gated communities and all. Where were they gated communities in India? Never. Now everybody's talking about privacy and so on and so forth.
Yep.
But where were they? Were never any gated communities, privacy, security, so on and so forth. That was never there.
There is a Delhi version of that. It's called Camellias in Gurgaon. If you're ever looking for clients in Delhi, that's where you should put
Camellias.
up shop.
Okay, theek hai.
It's really begun to pop up. And, the actual rich don't appear. That's one of the things that people don't know. The actual rich are actually hidden.
Yeah.
They like their first class because you cannot access the first class.
Correct.
The business class, you can still walk in as a pleb.
Correct.
The actual rich want to remain very hidden. They want their security and privacy.
Correct.
Yeah, and I say this to guys I sometimes talk to. I say, we understand how monkey-like we are on the inside. We invented all of civilization for female attention. When we get rich, we're very different.
Absolutely.
Now that success is sort of flooding in and there is all this attention. Plus, when we age, we don't necessarily depreciate in dating value.
Absolutely.
So like that starts kicking into guys also when they're rich.
Yeah, because you see the actual rich, why you're saying why there is so much of a hoo-ha and a brouhaha about the Singhania divorce.
What is the Singhania divorce?
Because that is where, she's claimed like 3/4 of a $1.4 billion of his net worth.
This is
Nawaz Modi and the Gautam Singhania.
Yeah, what happened
So, you see, what you're talking about, the actual rich, now that is actual rich.
Yeah. Are you
When you're no comments, I never speak about my clients. I never take their names. I'm known for not doing that.
Of course. Yeah.
So now that is actual rich, and that I think that settlement will probably have a huge impact on the way divorce laws are in India.
Because it will become a case law.
It will become not only a case law, it will also become, the way corporate governance is also looked at in a marriage. I think that will probably usher in this era of divorces where, people will think whether or not the wife should have a board seat, shouldn't have a board seat. It's very common in America, as you're aware. Like the Wynn Casino and all those guys, where you can actually bring down a company.
Right.
Through a divorce.
Yeah.
So because of corporate governance issues, so I think that Singhania divorce
is going to be that landmark now.
I think so, yes.
Very interesting.
And I think divorce is here to stay.
Yeah.
I think, divorce will be something which everybody who's going into marriage is going to think that, it could happen. They may not say it.
They may not like to think about it, but they should.
Yeah. And I think, from a policy point of view, I think in India, we must have prenups. I think those with...
prenups?
Because marriage is a sacrament, and it cannot be subjected to being a contract as per Hindu Marriage Act.
I see.
So I think we should have prenups. I think we should lay it down that, this is what you get and so on and so forth. Second thing, I think, like my wish list for great divorces or divorce laws is that whatever is the situation, I think it should be that this is what you give out to the children first, so that so that you don't have, I mean, there are cases where I'm fighting because the father is not paying for the child's education now because he wants to traumatize the mother, so I think you should put out that first. And I think the third thing you should do is just decide upfront what are the percentages that are going to go financially. Decide upfront about the children's access. Access is different from custody. Access is when you get to meet the child, so decide about that. So then there's nothing left to fight about. I think all these things, rather than having all these myriad laws or case laws and all of that, I think there are only two things that people fight about in a marriage. Okay, the two primary things: one is money, second is children. Third, which is ego. Okay, but at least if these two things, these are two real sufferings. Ego is not a real suffering.
That's you torturing yourself.
That is this thing. You do this. I had written to the Attorney General when I was a much younger lawyer, just starting out in law, saying that please decide on these two,
right,
and we will speed up
the process.
The process in India.
Right. That's completely fair. Do you want to talk about what you write in PhD?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I'm putting out a new book, which will be now my fourth book. And it's called PhD. And that is Pali Hill Divorces.
Sounds very fancy.
And the tagline is Richie Bitchy Divorces, So it is going to be a big fun ride, I think, into the world of aspirational lifestyles. What happens? Why do those marriages break? Do those marriages break for weird reasons? Or are they people like the Aam Aadmi? And that is why those marriages break? I don't think so. What do they get in settlements? The back flap of the book, it says that, if Bezos' wife got $38 billion, why not me? So...
You have understood your target audience so well. Brother, ये questions और ये podcast सुन के आपके भी दिमाग के चक्षु खुले ना. So subscribe to this so that you can watch our podcast in small bits and clips while you are busy and, wasting your life away.